What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Just Nuts. John here again. I'm doing a top 5 video. I've never really done a top 5 video, so this is going to be really weird. I'm doing it in a really jank way, but you know what? It's a low key. It's not a super intense top 5. I'm just talking about a couple decks that I want to see get Link monsters more than anything. These are just my top 5 decks, so keep that in mind. This is 100% personal preference. If you disagree, let me know, because I actually am really curious to know what other people want. Like what archetypes do people love? I don't even know, because I just know what I love. And I, like, growing up and playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I only knew what like I loved and like my very few close friends who played Yu-Gi-Oh. I didn't really know what the masses of the communities of the Yu-Gi-Oh community liked to love, or like the deck wise and archetype and all that stuff. I was never a fan of dragons, like Blue Eyes, Red Eyes. I was never really a big fan of anything dragon, but I know a lot of people were of that. But yeah, so let me know down below what archetypes you would like to see get a Link monster to help buff them up, because I'm going to be talking about them here. And yeah, I'm just going to hop right into it. So the first one is kind of greedy, I'll admit, but it's Blackwings. So Blackwings obviously just got new support, the 28th? So what is that? It's like 2 weeks ago. We got new support for Blackwings 2 weeks ago. So I feel like I'm being a little greedy asking for a new Link monster for them, but at the same time, like, the support is good and helps the deck, but at the same time it doesn't thrust them into the forefront of the meta, and I would love nothing more for the Blackwings to be in the forefront of the meta, because they are one of my favorite decks of all time. I love the way they work, and I love their designs overall. So like, thinking of like a Link monster that they could get, honestly, you might just want like one recursion, like a recursion Link too. That's like all really I think the deck would need, because as it is now, well, there's Bora, giant Bora right there. So as it is right now, the deck can actually make some pretty decent boards, but those boards include Wee Witch's Apprentice, just opening up 2 zones and then being able to summon like a couple synchro monsters into those zones. And while that's like decent board and whatnot, I felt like if they got like a Link to that could maybe search. I feel like search is overkill, because now with Sea Moon, you would just add Black Widow and you can already plus so much. But maybe the difference would be like, what if it was a Link 2 that worked similar to Saizo, Ninja Grandmaster Saizo, the Link monster that Ninja's got, which pretty much just sets a ninjutsu art spell or trap card directly to the field. What if the new Link monster would literally do the same exact thing for Blackwings? Take a spell or trap card that has Blackwing in the card text and place it and set it on the field. I think that could be really, really cool, because you have all these, like, they have these powerful they're, well, mostly traps. They have powerful traps. The spells are really underwhelming other than Black Whirlwind, but they have these like 3 powerful trap cards, like Blackbird Close, Black Sonic, and what's the other one? The one that wipes back row, I think, is the one I'm forgetting. Either way, like, you literally have like Heavy Storm Duster, or not a Heavy Storm Duster, a Storming Mirror Force that banishes all your opponent's monsters. You have a complete back row banishment, and you have Blackbird Close, which I believe gives you a negation. I don't remember what it negates, but it's a pretty decent negation card that tributes a Blackwing monster to do it. But they're not searchable, so like, you'd never really play them, I feel. Well, like, you could, but like, I don't think it'd be the optimal way. But if you could search them, then you could at least just play all of them at one, and then you're not going to see them very often. Maybe you see one every duel, maybe, but like, whichever one you definitely need for that duel, for that matchup, you just search it out and set it right to the field and use it on your opponent on your turn. Also, they have hand effects where they can activate from the hand if you have exactly 3 Blackwings on field. But with Wee Witch's Apprentice, you can't do that, because you'd have a monster that's not a Blackwing. But if you could do a Blackwing Link up top and then 2 more Blackwings underneath, that's exactly all you'd need to activate those cards from the hand, and then they become insanely powerful hand traps. So I think that's kind of what the Blackwings are looking for, but I'm spending way too much time. The new support is really cool. They have a new great boss monster, but they don't have like the connecting piece. Like, I feel like Wee Witch's Apprentice wasn't meant to be the final, or that centerpiece. That I feel like it's good for now, but I feel like eventually it won't be that centerpiece. And I think Blackwings need a Link monster for sure. spoiler, next number 2 is Fluffles. I think Fluffles are a great, a like obvious option. It's one of the like people love Fluffles, but they fell out of favor. We're getting Patchwork finally coming out in Soul Fusion in about a week from now. So like you have a new support, a great, just a literally +1 card, phenomenal card. A lot of archetypes wish they had that card. You've got some really powerful cards in Sabretooth, Kraken. You've got Tiger. And I don't know how powerful the other ones are, but I know those 3 are really powerful. You have consistency cards, Toy Vendor, Patchwork. You have like Fluffle Mouse, which is literally like 3 monsters. Like what? So Fluffle Mouse is like pretty insane. And I don't know how they'd make it. They like, because I'm not sure how easy it would be if they made. I haven't really delved into Fluffles all that much, but if they got a good Link monster, it may be the push I need to like really go out and like really try out Fluffles. But if they had a Link monster but like I don't know if they'd make it one Edgent monster and one Fluffle monster to make it, or just one Fluffle or Edgent of each, like just any combo of 2 Fluffle or Edgent to make it. I feel like that's like the way to go, because I don't know how easy it is to get a Fluffle and an Edgent on the field like turn 1, because that's what you need. You just want to be able to OTK with this deck. So you really just want like a Link 2 that's going to give you 2 arrows, so you can fusion twice, hopefully. There's a combo for that, and then just win OTK really quick, and so you do. So I don't really know enough about the deck to know exactly what kind of Link monster they would need to like maximize its potential, but I feel like a Link 2 would be really good, especially with cards like Mouse, cards like Penguin, and Fluffle Dog as well, because you can just search like Sheep and then Sheep to the board and Link 2 there. So I think Fluffles would be a great like a Link 2 opportunity, especially since it's such a beloved deck, and Konami could definitely make some money off of a good Link 2 for Fluffles. But zooming fast here now, we're jumping into maybe the number 1 deck I would love to get a Link monster for, which would be Electromagnet Warriors, or Magnet Warriors generically. But these guys I think are so cool. When these guys came out with ABCs, I believe they came out at the same time or very similar to the same time. ABCs obviously became meta relevant very quickly, and Magnet Warriors were kind of just pushed to the wayside because they were like the poor man's ABCs. But ABCs never got a good Link monster. They just had an actual good boss monster, which Magnet Warriors never had. I mean, Berserkion's a decent monster, but it's in the main deck, and so it clogs, as well as taking up slots just in your main deck that could go to other cards, and it was like just as easy to make as ABC Buster Dragon, but he was in the main deck, so like you couldn't just pull him out whenever you wanted. He's there when you don't need him, and then like you pull him out at the last second, and he also is not as good because ABC Buster Dragon pops or banishes, and this card only pops and takes resources in the graveyard to use. There's a couple ways why it's not as good. I think it's still a decent boss monster as far as boss monsters go for the main deck, but honestly they could use it so bad if they got a Link 2 or even a Link 1. I could see a deck like this getting a Link 1, or I think one of 2 ways would work. If they made more support, like a couple more monsters or good spell and trap cards that just search these out, to buff like consistency in the deck, like maybe another card like Delta, but like is better than Delta, like searches to hand or something, or specials to field or something. They definitely need something to help turbo a little bit faster, because sometimes you can get Berserkion in turn 1, but like that's not always the best, especially going first, because Berserkion can't pop quick effect. He doesn't pop with a quick effect, so he just comes out, can't pop anything on your opponent's turn, and then just like is subject to anything your opponent has for it. So he's probably coming off the board. But yeah, I think it's such a cool. This is like Yugi played the Magnet Warriors. These guys are the current reincarnation of the Magnet Warriors, and I think they do have some goodness to them. I just think they need to like channel that and make like either one really good Link 1 or a couple support cards and make it a Link 2. And either way, the Link monster needs to be that centerpiece that really puts the deck together. But I think it could be something in the future. Gorgonic Guardian or Gargoyle Guardian. I think it's Guardian. Is a really like an insanely strong rank 3, and these guys can make it super easy. So if you could just make a link to and put Gorgonic Gargoyle and Berserkion under it, that's actually it could be a decent board if like the link monster has a protection effect. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I just love them, and I'm greedy, and I want these guys to be better. They don't have to be meta. I just want them to be rogue. And right now they're like so rough that they're not even rogue. Right there. So then we're going to jump into the fourth deck, which is Tellarknights. This one's a pretty obvious one. A lot of people want a Tellarknight link monster because well, they're like a fan favorite, and also for a couple of reasons. Their designs are obviously really cool. They have great designs that appeal to a lot of people. Oh, fudge. I just spoiled everything. Whatever. We'll be there in a sec. But yeah, they have such a strong monster in Trevere that's like really easy to make because of Battle of Mias, that like if they had a link monster that said like this card is unaffected by other monster effects, but like not make it that big, make it like pretty small, and then it's unaffected by Trevor's effects, that you could bounce everything, keep that link monster, and attack with both, that'd be pretty cool. Honestly, that'd be really, really cool. Obviously, that's kind of stretching. Being able to keep Trevere with another monster is kind of pushing it, especially depending on what that monster is, its stats, and everything. But I think like a card that could extend them a little bit would be really huge, because they have so much trouble getting 2 monsters on the board at the same time. Like you have to play like 3 Vega just to hopefully open Vega with another monster in hand. Like you don't have to, but like I'm not sure if there's a better way to run it. Just hopefully, if you're going for the link 2 at least. So running like 3 Vega just to hopefully open it with another Tellarknight in hand, and then you just normal her or special the other one, make a link 2, or make Battle of Mias into Trevor, and then wiping board. It's so like suboptimal that like if they had a strong link 1, that could be it. Like literally a link 1 that says special summon a Tellarknight from the deck. I mean, obviously I'm pushing for a lot. If I'm asking for a link 1 that just specials from the deck, that's crazy, especially in a deck that has a monster like Trevor. That's really dangerous. But at the same time, it's a fan favorite. I really like them, but they're super linear. That's the thing, that like it can get really old really fast playing a deck like this that's this linear, does like the same thing every duel. And you win the same way. Just get into Trevor, wipe board, and poke direct a couple times per game, and hopefully your opponent can't recover their resources. So with that's number 4. We're going to jump into the last one right here, which is fucking Rose Dragons, an archetype that really got announced a week and a half ago probably, and then the effects for White Rose Dragon and Red Rose Dragon got leaked the day before yesterday. Yeah, so like it's not been long for these guys, and I know it hasn't been long, but at the same time, I feel like they really need a link monster to kind of solidify them, because they can't use the Arrow Mage monster because they are dragons themselves, so they can't make that Arrow Mage or Aromaseraphy Jasmine link monster that's really strong for plants. They synergize with plants, but they themselves are not plants, so they can't be used to make them. Which is kind of like a huge weakness. If they were all plants, like this archetype's like already like solid. But I rest my case. I think there's no link monster for dragons generically, not a good one at least that I know of. There's a couple of like generic solid link 2s, but not good enough to really like solidify this deck a spot of like goodness. But I think this deck seems really cool. We already are confirmed for 2 spell/trap cards. I don't know what they are, but they're hopefully going to be pretty good. These cards already seem pretty good so far. You can go into Black Rose Dragon, white board, and then get Black Rose Dragon back with a combination with like by doing the chain links correctly and using Blue Rose as well in that correctly. Somebody in my comment section told me that, and I thought that was really cool. That kind of combo, being able to white board with a Black Rose Dragon and then still have Black Rose Dragon at the end of it to just attack direct is pretty cool. And not including any extenders you might still have to like summon more monsters out after that. But I think they're really cool. I think they have a lot of promise so far, but at the same time, they're still just a synchro deck so far. And honestly, we're in 2018, almost 2019. If Konami's going to make new archetypes, they are going to need link monsters 95% of the time. Like, outside of like decks like True Draco and stuff, like those weird decks that like have a niche strategy that does not include extra decks but can still work, you're gonna need a link monster to make it through, the current meta times. And I think this is a perfect archetype for them to try and get it into the meta, especially with Needle Fiber still on the horizon here. They run tuners, and every synchro deck is good with Needle Fiber. I mean, honestly, like any deck gets a buff from Needle Fiber because you just throw in Glow Bulb, throw in Jet Synchron, and like you have fodder to make Needle Fiber, and it's just like broken. It's insane. It's insane what the card does. But those are the 5 decks I want the most to get a Link monster. Obviously, I want them all to get really a Link 2. That's like ideal if they get like a good Link 2. Link 1s are asking too much, I feel. Like Nordics were so far behind that it's okay if a deck like that gets a Link 1. But like some of these decks can already do things. If they get a Link 1, like it might be broken. Like I feel like Tellarknights were ahead of Nordics. Are ahead of Nordics, or were. They might still be ahead of Nordics. But like, so if they get a Link 1, that might be too much. Might be too easy that every normal summon just gets you a broken card. Not to mention their effects as is. So, I don't know. These are just the decks that I want them to get a Link monster, and I just want them to be solid. And even if they don't get a Link monster, support would be great at all. So, let me know what you guys think. I really want to know what kind of decks everybody else, just the whole community wants, because these are the 5 that I want the most. And I know you guys are going to disagree with me on a few of them at least, but I still want to know because, if a ton of people want one thing, then I want it too, because I want everybody to be satisfied, not just me. But I'm going to leave the video off here, guys. Thank you so much for watching this top 5 archetypes that not deserve, but should get a Link 2, or I want to get a Link 2. And enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. It's a nice, chill day. Low key. I love it. Peace, guys.